I call this meeting to order. We have a shared vision in the Fern Ridge School District, provide excellence for every student so that each will reach their greatest potential. Thank you to the members of the public and the phone. As a reminder, school board meetings and work sessions are meetings of the board held in public, providing an opportunity to observe the board's discussion and actions.
Okay.
In an effort to conduct official board business, we ask that the audience be respectful and refrain from questions, comments, and unnecessary noise while the board conducts the meeting. There is an opportunity for citizen comment tonight, and the board looks forward to hearing from those who signed up. I will share some reminders when we get to that portion of the meeting. Also, please note that all board meetings are live streamed and posted on the school board area of the website. First up tonight, we have the Citizenship Award and Mrs. Perrier. The floor is yours.
Okay, this is Anthony. Anthony, stand up. Anthony is a fifth grader at Elmira, and he was chosen by many of staff members, and we all agree that he's outstanding. So his current fifth grade teacher wrote, Anthony's work ethic, kindness, and consideration for others, and willingness to lead a helping hand sets him apart from others. He goes above and beyond in all that he does and is truly an outstanding citizen at our school. Miss Herbert wrote, Anthony comes to PE every day with a smile on his face and always gives 100%. He is a good partner to his classmates and uses great sportsmanship. And I wrote, I don't usually write what I'm gonna say, so who knows what will actually come out of my mouth. I usually just like go on the fly. What makes Anthony outstanding is that he is naturally an incredibly polite human. Anthony greets me every morning by looking me in the eye and saying hello and saying my name. Some mornings I even get a hug. He consistently says please and thank you and shows patience with others. He truly has the basics down, and because of that, he's a leader in our school. So really the overall, the great thing about Anthony is he's just naturally kind and polite. It's internal for him. And that's what makes him a great leader and a great human. So great job. We're proud of you.
Very deserving of it. Good job, kid.
Yeah, you can stay there, buddy. Here, I'll hold that for you. And you're just gonna.
Everyone, please rise as Anthony leads us in the.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job, Anthony. And you guys are welcome to go if you'd like.
Good job, Anthony. Good job, Anthony.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Good. Tonight we have no public comment, so we'll start with Mr. Tony Skirdo, Lane ESD Superintendent. Welcome.
Thanks for having us. I'm here tonight with our newest board member at Lane ESD, Thomas here. And so we are going to talk a little bit about ESDs and then talk a little more specifically about what we call our local service plan that is designed for our 16 component districts here in Lane County. First, I want to thank Superintendent Carpenter. He has been part of our leadership team representing the middle-sized school districts in Lane County. This is, I think it took a break last year. We've been doing it for several years now. You've been part of that. So thanks for representing that voice of the middle-sized districts. And we meet monthly as we talk about things that hopefully pertain to our other component districts to make our meetings worthwhile for the folks who attend that, superintendents of the county. The ESDs in Oregon are in this the state school fund, which is not normal for the rest of the country. ESDs serve different functions throughout the country. In Oregon, there are 19 education service districts, again, funded in the state school fund with a design to try to bring about equity size in their school districts, and also making sure we're accounting for students who maybe don't have the same opportunities as they have based upon where their school's located or based upon the size of the school. So that's something we're called out to do in the in state statute. We are in our ESD, we have 16 school districts here in Lane County. Again, I mentioned that Fern Ridge, about a middle-sized district. And we have a funding model where all the money we get from the state in the state school fund, 90% of it needs to be spent on our component school districts through the programs that we run. We hold back 10% to kind of run our own administration and other HR related functions. But if you look on page 3 of this local service fund, I believe and it goes out with me. If you have that, if you have it electronically, it does show a graph that we are, even though we're funded with the state school fund, we still get over 60% of our money that comes in grants and contracts. So we get money from the state school fund and then leverage that, and also our staff and working with our component school districts are able to generate more money for different programs and different ventures that we do regionally in the county. So we think that's a pretty good value for what we do. The requirement for school boards in the ESD regions is to annually vote on something called the local service plan. This gets developed by our superintendent council. 16 superintendents come together and meet monthly. And one of the things we do is talk about what we want to see in the local service plan. I will say that what we're looking at tonight is year 2 of the plan. Year 2 is next year. It would be 2026-27 school year. So even though we're in the middle of this school year, we're looking at the next school year. And it's the second year of a plan. We've developed plans every 2 years where we, in the first year, really take a hard look at what we do. We spent, I want to say the year before last, a lot of the spring and summer, kind of really seeing what services we're offering, seeing how we want to do it, and even looking at the format of this. I believe we have some newer board members here. If you've been here for a while, this used to be about 40 pages long. It's down to 11. The other thing about this plan in writing here is it shows what funding source funds that program. So it's a little different than you may have seen years ago, but we think it's a little easier to read and a little easier to understand. So tonight, I guess I'm asking for eventual approval of this 2-year plan. Actually, the second year of the 2-year plan. The superintendent council passed this unanimously back in December. The Lane ESD school board then took action on it in early January. And by law, we need our component school districts to pass it by March 1st. So I know this is only January. You have maybe another meeting or so before that, but we'd like to see some action by then, whether it's approved or not. Just a vote would be great. In terms of what specifically the Fern Ridge School District gets from our plan, our biggest department in Lane ESD is our special education department. And so we do serve some students from Fern Ridge School District in some of our classrooms that we run. These are students with life skills disabilities. We also provide augmentative communication support for 5 students here in the Fern Ridge School District. And another big area of our local service plan comes in school improvement. And one of the things that we've had real good partnership with Fern Ridge on is a regional approach to certified career technical education. So there are good CTE programs here in the Fern Ridge School District. There's some opportunities countywide, though, for students right now, especially seniors, to go a little further and participate in such activities as our Hope Factory, which is students who are seniors working several hours a day down in Garfield Street at the Hope Factory plant, where they're actually building modular homes. And it's not a simulated classroom. They are out with other folks who are getting paid. Our students aren't getting paid yet. We think it will be next year if they continue down the path they're on. So we've had some real good partnership with Fern Ridge School District on that venture. Other than that, we do also provide kind of backup technology services for the district, as we do other districts. Quite a few things are difficult to mention. I know that a little later there was still Principal Amanda Linder, but she mentioned the WREN, the Western Regional Educator Network, which is under our umbrella. And I want to bring them up because one of the difference, that maybe the only difference in this local service plan compared to last year, is certain programs in this year's plan are underlined. The reason they're underlined is because we are not certain that those funding sources will be there next year. So you have to make a decision now on what the programs are. But if the funding is pulled from those programs, and that's a state level decision on whether or not those programs will be funded, we wouldn't be able to operate it. This is supposed to be a promise to you what we can operate. So that's the difference between last year and this year, is that there are certain programs. And I think there's also the STEM that's underlined. The state cuts that in the legislative session, we wouldn't be able to. So we're hoping that those are still there. Again, we won't know that until March, probably mid-March. And we need to make a decision before. So with that, I'll stop. I don't, Thomas, have you got anything to say?
No, just overall, very glad to be here. I'm a new board member for Laney SD. This is the first chance I've had to visit a school district in Laney SD, so I'm glad I got to do it here. It's really not that far away, so we hope that you're content with the services that we offer, and look forward to continuing the relationship.
So if you have any questions tonight, we'd be glad to field them. And if not, at any point.
So there's core services that you guys offer, right? That have been contracted out, and then everything after that's kind of a la carte or something, or like?
Great question. Yeah, it's core and flex model. So there are core services, and the core services mostly are school improvement services and technology services. And then when I mentioned our biggest, kind of the biggest thing we provide for districts is special education. Most of those are chosen off of a menu. So all 16 districts contribute money to the core, and that makes up about 12% of, maybe 12.2% of the overall funding. And that means the rest of the money is divided up in what we call flex funds. And that goes to districts based on the size of the district.
Gotcha. And then the district itself decides on what they want to use out of that. Gotcha.
And I will say half our districts end up buying services from us and then spending more of their general fund on those services. There are several districts that actually don't spend all that money. They take it back to the district and transfer dollars.
Our biggest expense or our biggest utilization, certainly technology, we get support, but it's placements for students that we can't serve in some of the programs.
Yeah. I did a little bit of digging on it, where you guys offer like grant writing assistance stuff too, is that right?
So we have we contract with a grant writer out of Lane Council of Governments, and she's been with us for a while. We haven't had her necessarily work with individual districts on grants. It's more if the funding comes along that has a potential consortium opportunity.
Gotcha.
And so she's written many grants that we go in coordination or consortium with, 3 or 4 districts get together, and she'll be writing for that.
Understood. Gotcha.
Any other questions? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the Lane ESD 25-27 local service plan year 2?
Yep, I'll make a motion to approve the Laney SD 2025-27 local service plan year 2.
Second.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion? No, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you for
coming. Thank you for your work. Yeah. Come hang around just a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it means.
Approval of minutes. Is there a motion to approve the December 15th, 2025 work session minutes?
I move to approve the work session minutes from December 15th, 2025.
All right, second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Is there a motion to approve the December 15th, 2025 regular meeting minutes?
Motion to approve the December 15th regular meeting minutes.
Do we have a second?
Oh, I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion?
I got my questions answered.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Juana. In real life again, we're gonna
No. I guess I'm gonna have to come tomorrow.
Yeah, right? We've seen what you're capable of now.
Okay, and I can't read that far away, so I'm gonna just look at my paper here. This is the enrollment report as of January 1st. Myra Elementary has the average class size of 24.2, and Veneta is sitting at 22.21. Overall, with the Bridges and Structured Learning Classroom, total elementary enrollment is 578. So that's down 4 from our projected enrollment. Middle school is at 315, which includes the Bridges classroom. They are down 4 as well from our projected enrollment. And then the high school is at 371. So that's 12 less than our projected enrollment, which brings us to our total in district enrollment of 1,264, 20 below our projected for the year. Does anyone have questions on the enrollment report?
It was 24 something for Elmira and 22 for Veneta, is that right?
24.2 and 22.1.
If not, I'll move on to the financial report. All right, this is our general fund revenue and expense report as of December 31st. We've received 70% of our budgeted revenue. We have spent 35% of our operating expenditures. Last year at this same time, we had received 68%, so very similar, and we had spent 36%. So very similar in that area as well. Nothing really to note out on this. I did want to let you all know that the auditors are actually currently working right now. I was emailing them before I walked in here on our audit. So they're supposed to be getting it to me this week sometime so I can start reviewing that. It should be presented at the next board meeting, but I will email it out to you guys so you can review it. There's a lot in there that I don't even understand. So they usually do give the board like a summary. And so I'll send that out with it. Yeah. But again, if you have questions on it, once you receive it, feel free to email me.
Anything out of the ordinary coming up or anything?
What was that?
Anything out of the ordinary coming up, Gary, or Juana?
And then, no, other than we'll really be diving in, want to have a meeting scheduled for Friday to start kind of our initial brainstorming around the 26-27 budget. So identifying, any reductions, so, a dollar amount, and then start to brainstorm that. If there is a dollar amount we need to reduce. Second thing, budget related, I would mention is coming up. In 2 weeks, I'll be presenting to the administrators a plan, 2 plans around how we're going to use our Title I dollars. And then both of the plans I'll be okay with. I'll let really the other administrators decide which plan they want to utilize. The third thing I'd mention, just around dollars budget in general, Quanah did a bunch of work in the last week to submit our claim for our Awesome grant. So that was, remember our bond was around $18 million, but we applied for a $6 million grant. We did that work, Quanah got it all submitted. We just heard back today that that's all good to go. It's available now for us to claim. So that's good to get that money on the front end. Let's keep our more of our bond dollars in our savings account accruing money. I would imagine within a week or so, we'll get that claimed and be wiped out.
Yeah, it's claimed already, so.
That's what I was wondering, does it go into the same account where you can continue to accrue interest at a higher rate, or is it separate from the bond amount?
That's a good question. It will need to go into the same fund that the bond funds are in, but I suspect they probably want me to break out the interest difference between the two. So I plan on setting it up that way just in case. It'll be in the same account, but I will have a way to differentiate.
It is available to draw interest and all that cool stuff.
Yeah, it'll be sitting there accruing interest.
Cool.
Yeah.
Deal.
How do you feel about the audit?
It's been fine. Yeah, they don't have any concerns. So they just, they've set a lot of new GASB policies. So auditors are trying to wrap their head around it, and every year it's more and more. So
Yeah.
It's all right. Yeah. Any other questions for Quanah? Thank you, Quanah.
Thank you.
Can we have a motion to approve the general fund expenditure report for December 31st, 2025?
I move to approve the general fund.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Right.
All those opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Thank you, Quanah.
Thank you.
Juana's happy because she has jury duty tomorrow.
Nice. Enjoy that.
I'll be back then.
I hope you get a good one. Mrs. Vanderkal, please join us.
Right, my report, and here is your handouts. I tried to do them in order, so what I remember about being a teacher is if you hand out the materials before you're ready to talk about it, nobody listens to you. So, you can look at the first page, if you will, and this is our Oregon, will you go to the? She was excited about that. We have 370 students at Elmira High School as of Thursday evening at the end of finals. Those are broken out into the categories on the right, with ninth grade being our largest class. I don't know why this is a fun little graph, if you were a math teacher, why it goes up and down like that, but our 12th graders, this is the last year that we'll have 11 kids in options. So we have 11 kids online and then 80 kids in our actual school building. So really we have 91 12th graders. The 113 for CTE, a lot of credit goes to the guy sitting behind me on the left. So this is part of Tony, what he was talking about with CTE, but if you can think about this, if Forrest were here, he would tell you that these are overlaps. So we have 113 seats. So let's say Jake has a CTE class, first period, second period, third period. He's counted 3 times in that number. So this is the number of kids in a classroom, not necessarily the number of kids that are in CTE. Same goes for AP in College Now. Those same kids that are in CTE could also be taking an AP in College Now class. And both of these kiddos over here are in more than one AP or College Now class. So it's not the number of kids in it, it's the number of seats taken up by those classes. Next page, please. All right. This is my take on the very first page that I put in your folder. This is the Oregon Department of Education's grade. They grade every single public high school, probably private. I don't know if they do privates or not, but public high schools in Oregon, and everyone gets a grade report. So this comes off of that one, and it's from last year's data. So when Jake and Riley were juniors, okay. So things
This info's from last year?
This is from last year. Okay. So it compares us with the rest of the state. It tells us how we did from did we increase or decrease from the year before, which is hard for me because your group of ninth graders is different than the next group of ninth graders, and you never know what each group has a little flavor of its own. So I do not know how to explain a lot of things, but what I do know is that we care a lot about how our ninth graders do by the end of the first year. So if they have passed 6 classes, which means 6 classes in the fall term and 6 classes in the spring term, we consider them to be on track to graduate. And then as they move through, we're hoping that they get 6 each year in the right classes so that they have enough to graduate. So last year, 78% of our seniors were on time. They graduated on time. However, this year we have some of them back, which would make them second year seniors. Some of them call themselves super seniors. Some people call them 5th year seniors, different words for it. But if you look at our numbers, 93% of our kids graduate. Some take an extra year. Okay, so that's an increase of 7 years. I see it as maybe we're not so serious in 9th and 10th grade, and then we realize, uh-oh, I'm behind, even though we meet with them. So if you see this little folder, that's the outside, I called it a peachy, and I practiced this on one of our 10th graders today. Who may or may not have been in trouble in my office, and so I practiced my whole report for them. they didn't know what a peachy was, so you guys know what a peachy is? Okay, it's a folder. Okay, we'll work on that. We'll work on that later, but it's a folder. Yeah. So when Mr. Carpenter and I were in school, peachies were these folders that had athletics on the outside and they were kind of folder. They were the one to have. Okay, so folder. In homerooms, we fill these out and we started 9th grade. So when a student is surprised that they're behind, I would say their homeroom teacher is not surprised because we worked through this. They've marked off if they passed or didn't pass. And as they work through it, they know what they need to do over the course of the rest of the year. So some of them who end up being, I do like the term super senior because they use it with a little bit of pride sometimes. They do know when they get there that they're going to be coming back the next year. And some of them just know it and they're ready for it. But the rest of it walks them through what you need to do at the college fair or at our, we have this big, huge thing in the gym. I'm inviting you to it. Don't look ahead. The date's coming, but the college fair, it also has work choices. So it's more than just college, but it's next step. And all of this works together with that. So if you go to that and you see them walking around with this folder, that's what they're working on, is finishing this up so that when they graduate, will you go to the next screen for me, please? On the left-hand side, I don't even pretend like you can read that, but it's lined out right here, everything that a kid needs to graduate. And the most important part is that the state of Oregon changed what our social studies, Desiree's behind me, she can vouch for this, that our social studies classes have to be lined out. It used to be you had to have 3 years of social studies. Now you have to have a year of US history, a year or half a year of civics. You need some econ, some personal finance. You got to throw it all in there, and global studies. So now we have to keep track of that. And it isn't for the weak of heart to keep track of that because it is a lot different than what we used to do. So on the right-hand side, you can see I kind of lined it out, but our kids are walked through this starting in 9th grade. So it is important that we grab kids that are new to us and make sure that we catch them up. And that happens more than I would like, because I feel like they're having to catch up. So kids we just have some kids from out of state didn't care about the social studies requirement in Oregon, and yet they stopped to make it up. So we might have a 11th grader in a 9th grade class making up for social studies, not because they made a mistake, just because, well, maybe they moved to Oregon, but because they moved from somewhere else to here. So now they're having to make up into it the way that Oregon does it. Requirement. It's a requirement. All right, next screen, please. All right, CTE courses. This is another one that Tony has helped us a great deal with. It, not Tony, but people that work at the Lane ESD. We have a lot of kids in welding, and they're doing amazing work. Those same kids are teaching others, and we have some kids at the Hope Factory, which I hope I didn't do that on purpose. At the Hope Factory, which I'm really wanting us, Michelle and I went for a visit last year, and if any of you want to go visit them, it is a great opportunity. Kids learn math and how to build at the same time, and they walk away with jobs. So right now, one of our students is a leader and is training others on the floor at the Hope Factory, and I would love for us to go just watch it. So these are our classes for CTE. The ones that say not official, it just means that we don't have a complete program for it yet. Remember, we are working on our health program, so that computer science robotics could be part of a health program because of the number of jobs that we go into that require people to know how to work a big machine. Think x-rays, think that sort of line of work. So that one we've included. It was brand new. You approved it at the beginning of the year. That one we've included on here, even though it's not really part of a program yet, because we have high hopes that it will be.
What's it take to get it approved?
We work with like USD and we have to get the right classes in line for it. So right now we have, oh my gosh. Human body, I was gonna call it anatomy, but that would be like saying peachy nowadays. What's the right word?
Human body system.
Human body systems. We have robotics. We needed statistics and so you have to have more than just one class to make it happen. And so we're on our way, just not quite there yet. But the statistics portion of it will help kids get into a medical program at a university, which we didn't have before. So all of those fit into CTE programs. And I would say this is what brings some of our kids to school. These programs right here are the reason kids show up for school sometimes in our parking lot. All right, next screen, please. All right, so this is a picture on the right of the Hope Factory, and then behind it is, I don't know if Michelle took this or I took this, but one of us took this picture. And those are the buildings that they build in the back. And then once they're ready, they sell them to, it was displaced people up the McKenzie. Tony, is that still?
That started there, it goes elsewhere as well now.
Okay, so people needing homes that currently don't have them, that were displaced at the time by fire, and now it sounds like we have expanded our needs. If we wanted to go visit it, Michelle could set that up for you. And by we, I mean board members wanted to go visit it because it is an amazing program. And then Lane ESD is on tour in our building on the 19th. I have invited you. It's February 19th and it's in the morning. And you will visit 3 of our programs, and each one of them will be taught by a student. So I believe you'll get to do a wood project. You'll do something in 2 of the other classes. And if I had John Goldegger here, he could remind me what those other 2 things are, but they will be hands-on and the students will be teaching it. And I think it will be fun because maybe one of those kids might heckle me daily. I'm going to be nice though. I am, but, so that is on the 19th. Hope Project isn't anything that we've set up, but if you want to go visit, it's amazing. And then another thing that we worked with Lane ESD with, also LCC, is our students can go and be part of an emergency medical responder. And that was, I want to say it was on Friday, the day that we didn't have school. So that's passed, but just know that there are opportunities out there and our kids are visiting other places and learning a lot of skills that were not offered even 3 years ago. So, all right, next. All right, on the left it's also in your folder. And it has a QR code at the bottom. One of the programs, I'm really not here to sell Lane ESD, but I guess you're learning how much we use them. Lane ESD lent to us their REN, which stands for Willamette Resources and Educational Network. Were you two, either one of you in those meetings? Last of you were. Oh, Western?
Yeah, Western.
Oh, well, Willamette worked. Okay, so it's not just Willamette, it's Western. But what we learned from that, we had 4 age groups, 12, 11, 10, 9, and kids were asked to share from their heart, and they did. And what we learned is that while they mostly think we do a great job, we don't do a very good job of bringing newcomers in. And we are now working with leadership to create a video so that when students are brand new to our school, they can find out all of this information that they don't know when they first start on their first day. So we're really good at when a kid comes in as a 9th grader, we meet them as 8th graders, we bring them up to the school, they meet all of our students, they visit classes, and then on the first day of school, they come in, we walk them around, we show them all these things. But if you're 2 weeks late, you miss out on a lot of that, is what we learned. And this is what came out of those meetings with the Western Resources Educational Network. And what we also learned is that kids don't look at our website. So grownups might look at our website, but kids look at Schoology. So we're trying to figure out how to get this QR code somewhere embedded into Schoology so kids can easily go online and figure it out, because that they get messages a lot on Schoology and they don't necessarily go to our website even though it's there. So this is our first try at it. And then I think what we'll do is we'll send out the video that Riley, it's you and Jake and who else?
I mean, I'm doing it, but Jake, Hannah, Yaskovic, and Wyatt Firm are also gonna be in there.
Okay, so we're gonna put together, the kids are putting together a video using all this information, trying to support our new student.
That's gonna be part of, I'm gonna
Oh,
talk.
never mind, I just ran down our parade, so, okay, next slide, please. I decided to give you some data on our cell phone ban. At the end of the first semester, we collected, I think I'm using the word loosely, collected 164 phones from 107 kids. Most kids on their first offense were mortified and changed their ways. Some of them were repeat offenders, and probably the worst being 12th graders. They're the ones not used to it. They've been able to use their phone all the time. And so we have one, as you can see, student who's on his fifth offense, his or her, sorry about that, fifth offense. And things got more strained as time went on with that fifth one, and we have not seen it again since the last time we met. So that is good. However, I want to point out that the ninth graders who weren't used to having their phones did a great job of over time, just keeping them away and off. So what a common area means: hallway, gym, maybe during an assembly, lunchroom during lunch or breakfast. Breakfast wouldn't matter, bell hasn't rang yet. And then the rest of them were in classrooms. So teachers would have recovered phones in the class. And then the other ones are usually Joel, Sid, anyone that's on watch in the common areas. I would also say that we've lost a few kids whose parents didn't agree with this. So some left and told us this was the reason why they're not going to our school anymore. We know that it's all the way across the state of Oregon, but some parents really wanted to be able to get a hold of their kids, and I'm not gonna argue with parents. That's what they did. So, okay, so next.
What comes after fifth offense? Like how many offenses was it?
So that parent offered what they wanted us to use as a discipline for that offense, and they, I would say, chose something that their kid missed a lot. So it might be, you know, being in the play, it might be playing a sport, it might, so that parent knew what would make it happen, and that's what happened. So we, on the first one, we give it back to you at the end of the day. Second one, we call your parents and they come get it. Third one, the parent meets with an administrator. Sometimes parents will just leave them there for 2 weeks. Like they feel like they don't want to come get it and they just leave it there. And then on the fourth offense, we've been giving lunch detention. And then the fifth one was, we only had one fifth one, word must have got out. So anyway, I guess it's going okay. It feels like a battle nobody wants to fight. So, but we don't see them as often. They might, huh?
It's not a lot better.
Yeah. We remind them that their back pocket, they can't be in their back pocket, but they can be in their backpack.
Back pockets are.
Yeah.
Hoodie pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't tackle anyone though, we find it out. All right, next one, please. All right, this is brand new to us. OSAA has been hard at work all fall, and they changed, I would say, almost every
every league a little bit. So we are going back to the Sky M League. That's where I was when I graduated from here. So it is not the same players, but that was our name. So yay, Sky M League. And we're moving from 3A to 4A. This is based on your enrollment. And it's not just the enrollment in the high school, it's the enrollment that comes from anywhere in our catchment area that students might come, homeschool. It could be what's the name of our private school?
Western Charter?
Wesleyan Charter. We have a private.
What?
St. Thomas Becket.
Yeah, St. Thomas.
Could be any of those kids. So, this was a battle, and this is where we ended up. And I am thankful on the left-hand side that we're not crossing a pass in the middle of winter. Anyway, that's what I'll say about that. And then on the right-hand side, we went to battle. This took superintendent, took our coach, took our AD, took our assistant principal, everyone working on this with OSAA. So we're in a special district for football, and it's called SD3 if you see it, football 3A. So there are more than just us that are in a special district. And we are in with Cresswell, Elmira. Those are close. And then Klamath Union, I had looked that one up on the map today. Madras, Pleasant Hill, and Sisters. So I think this is better than playing Marist football. What did you say to me when you saw this, Gary? You said, watch out what you wish for. What did you say?
Oh, well, yeah, the
Yeah.
travel has obviously increased significantly, so, it'll be about 3.5 hours to Klamath.
In the fall.
Yeah.
But as far as a competitive level, definitely better for our kids, for our program long term, and this will, I think, this will not change now that it's like this. It's not like we're playing down. We are in 3A football.
Is this a year-to-year deal?
No, 4-year cycle
It is. So the special district for football only is a 4-year cycle
for all of it.
for all sports.
Well, for the Sky M League,
Right.
that'll be 4 years.
So where was the determination just for football?
Well, we can make an appeal based on win-loss record, participation numbers, history, and we submitted that, and they agreed.
Gotcha. But the other sports you didn't feel was necessary?
They told us no.
We-
We
we
tried.
could-
They told us no.
Yeah, there's a criteria, you have to be a win percentage of less than 20% in all your team sports.
Yeah, for like a 5-year average or something like that.
I don't know if it was 5 years, but it was the last couple, and we were like 32%. So, my argument was, okay, we're at 32% in 3A, you move us up to 4A, we're definitely gonna be below 20%, like, that didn't fly, but they did buy into our football appeal. Now, that isn't to say after next year in the Sky M League, we might be able to appeal to play down.
That's what I was curious about. Are they gonna look at just 1 year of it to be able to?
I think we get a bill every year.
Yeah, I think at the end of but by the time you would get through that first year,
It would be the next.
it would be not in the fall, because those games are already set, it'd be for like year 3 of that 4-year cycle.
What is the difference in football? Like what?
Because you get significantly hurt. You don't get significantly hurt, playing volleyball against a team that's gonna, or track or softball or baseball typically. In football, when the numbers are, one team has 70 kids and another team has 35, you get physically beat up, which is the nature of the sport.
So the football decision was made today, so that's hot off the press. It has not gone to their executive session, but they don't anticipate anyone not voting for it.
But after the season is completed for the other sports, there'll be an ability to look into it again, but it
Yeah.
won't go into effect till the next year after that.
That's what I believe, yeah.
Right.
And keep in mind, when you're playing down, like in that 3A district, that's our league, you could win a state championship at that level. If you're playing down in 3A, as soon as if your program has success, they bump you back up.
Sure.
Okay, then also in your packet is, you're invited to this as well. On March 18th, this is not March 18th is our annual career fair. And the juniors and the seniors will go. The seniors, when you flip over their sheet, you can see that theirs has all of the parts that they have to do an interview. And this is all part of graduation. If they don't do their interview, then they have to make it up in another way, which means sitting down with one of us and doing another interview. So the juniors go through and they go to all the booths. Well, they go to 10 booths, they have it signed. And then the seniors also go to booths, but then on the other side have to do a mock interview with people who come from the community and just practice doing that. That you're welcome to join us. It is always fun to watch all of the kids in the gym with all of our community out there. And March 18th is the date for that. It's in the morning, it's all morning. And then the next screen. I just want to say thank you. Somewhere Jake is in there and somewhere Riley's in there. Joel and I are sitting in the middle of the E.
Well, I was there.
Yeah.
And we did that when we finally got to go onto the field for the first time, all of us. And so I just want to say thank you for your work. I know that you are volunteers and it takes up a lot of time and a lot of effort. And we just appreciate you. So thank you.
Thanks, Sid.
Yeah.
I guess.
Obviously. My turn? You said. I just listened today. I just listened.
Oh, no.
I'm scared. Okay, bad. This is reasonable. Yeah,
I know. So you might be wondering these images. I was struggling with ideas. So I was like, you know how they always have those national whatever day? In case you care or wanted to know, today is National Green Juice Day. It is also National Peanut Brittle Day. And the last Monday of January, so it's not always on the 26th, but it's National Bubble Wrap Day. And apparently it's also National Spouses Day. I didn't have one in there, but
Yeah. No, ours should have been on the.
again, it's a little bit of a struggle bus. So I was like, what can I kind of creatively do? So that's what I can. All right, first off, Freya would like to thank the Furner School District board members. I know a couple are not here, or Mark is online, but Chair WC Grover, Vice Chair Kathleen Fazzola, Director Mark Gent, Director Brian Kirkpatrick, and Director Lisa McCann for all you do for the district, our students, and our teachers. So we know it's School Board Appreciation Month, and we just wanted to add a slide in there thanking you.
Thank you.
All right, here are the Freya's appreciations. On the left, we have Elmira Elementary Jumpathon and cardio drumming update. So our recent Jumpathon was a big success. Students enthusiastically jumped to support our fundraiser, and we are incredibly grateful to the community members who attended to help count jumps, as well as to all of our generous donors who made the event possible. We'd also like to thank Jenny Herbert for writing a grant that allowed our students to participate in Pound, a cardio drumming program. The students are absolutely loving it and it has been a fun, engaging way to promote fitness and movement. On the right, with Benita, 5th and 2nd grade at Benita have been hard at work learning about history and nature. Michelle Markham and Erica McGuire's 5th grade students researched the history of early Native American tribes and created amazing visual projects, which they presented to their peers. Ashley Colts and Deanna Green's 2nd grade classes researched polar bears. Students worked hard to write an expository paragraph and created a Ted Harrison inspired watercolor background for their polar bear. These student creations have been on display in the Benita Elementary Library and the hallways for the whole school to enjoy. Those are the 2 elementaries. And then the middle school on the left, we're thankful for student leadership for hosting our Glow Dance. It was a huge success and such a fun experience for our students. And then at the high school, just recently over the weekend, shout out to all the students in the EHS theater production class who showcased their acting, costuming, lighting and set building talents in the weekend theater production of Bethel Park Falls, and to teacher Desiree Wright Rendon, who guided the students through months of hard work to bring the story to life on stage in 3 engaging performances. Bravo. And then Riley and Jake, your last semester, your first day of your last semester of high school. So congrats to you.
Yes.
Exciting.
All right, and then that's where we're
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so coming up for union stuff is the OEA PAC convention. So OEA is a interstate level union. And so member dues do not go towards political candidates. So we do separate funding for the money that goes towards political candidate support. And that's what the OEA PAC is for. OEA has its own political action committee to support for education candidates running for election, having similar values and goals as OEA does. So each year, throughout the year, OEA is constantly asking for support and that kind of stuff. At any OEA event, they're going to have some kind of PAC fundraiser. Like I've gone to our representative assembly, and there's always like silent auctions for raising money for OEA PAC. So we're just constantly raising money to support that. But our biggest fundraiser for that is each year we hold an annual convention. This year, it's usually in February, and it's at the end of February this year to raise money. And then this is also our time to interact with candidates and talk to candidates about educational issues and what we're looking for as teachers or what support we need from different candidates. So this year, usually OEA PAC convention is in person. I think, wasn't it here last year, Eugene? Yeah. So it was in Eugene this last year, and usually Portland, Salem. But this year it's been moved to a hybrid event to remove some barriers for and increase participation for OEA members, because driving from LeGrand to Eugene is a long haul. So to increase member participation, but also with the congressional schedule, it was hard for OEA to coordinate with those representatives that would be coming. It would have been just, or like people who are Oregon candidates, not out in DC doing work. So this way they're able to zoom in and answer questions and that kind of stuff. And so we'll see how that goes. It was very successful during COVID, evidently, to have it as a hybrid option. So they're trying it out this year to see how that goes. And just a fun fact, Freya has been awarded, at least since I remember being a part of the union for the last 5 years, for our PAC contributions. There's a different level of awards that they give for PAC contributions based on like money given by member ratio. Anyway, and so we've been awarded many years for our volume of PAC contributions to the number of members that we have. So it's something coming up, and just a little bit more about our union and how it works, and you know where our money goes and how things are separated. Any questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now it's smart.
Pretty sure it's almost. I was just kidding, student representative, but I'm just kidding.
All right.
Moving on to the next thing.
Okay, sports, girls basketball, so league started last week, 2 weeks ago. So, girls league record is 1-3. We had a really good game Friday, at Crestwell, lost by 3. We played really well. We do wish more people would come and support though, students mainly, but you know, we're girls, what can you do about it?
A lot.
Away games or home games?
Home. Yeah.
Yeah, just come on, leadership, get on.
I tried, let me know it. Boys basketball, the record is 2-2. They're doing pretty well. This is like one of the best years in a while. There is a lot of news, press, and social media reports and like stuff about Elmira boys basketball, and it's kind of getting to the girls just because like the cameras show up early for the boys games, so they catch a little bit of our game, and it's kind of, I mean, a little bit, but obviously it's more focused on boys. But yeah, that's good for them. And then boys and girls wrestling, the wrestling teams have done well. There has been lots of placers placings. How do you say that? At meets, the home duel against Churchill. That was senior night. That was a success, and there was some student support. We both went. It was a great time. I like watching wrestling. I know nothing about it, but it's fun to watch. And yeah, there's been lots of podiums. And then cheers competed in a couple of meets and placed in a couple of them. I think it's been 2-2. I know they placed. And they competed at Sweet Home a couple weeks ago, and I think they got.
Then moving on to briefly on outdoor school, council applications are now open and they are due this Friday. They will be interviewed on February 10th and then notified about their acceptance on February 19th. Outdoor school this year is May 18th through May 21st. Kids, I know counselors are very, very excited about this year because there's like a lot of seniors this year that never did it last year and they're really excited to sign up. People are already talking about what field studies in their names. So that's good from high school. And then on to NHS. We recently conducted a clothing drive for our school, and we had a competition between the freshman and senior year. They were like oil drums, so about 55-gallon drum size barrels, and almost all of them were completely full. So that was very exciting. Amy Hand, which heads up the free store at the high school, is organizing and going through and clothes our free store could need and allocating them to people that might need them more, other schools or nonprofits. Yes. We're also showing Valigram sales next week, which are like the holiday gram things we sell, just like a little school spirit, like a little nice thing to send to people. They're just sold for $1 each with a piece of candy. Then on to leadership. We talked about in the last board meeting how we were starting the video announcements, which we have made 2 of them so far. We have the homeroom teachers show them to their class. It's a rough start.
Well, okay, we've only done one that we could post in, and since it was new and it was like, I don't think it got sent out quite in enough time, and the email wasn't like, it was just talked about and not every home teacher did it, but go ahead, sorry.
But
Snyder showed it.
yes, Mr. Lee showed it too.
That's in the middle of public.
Yes.
Something
Yeah.
on it or email.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
But from those that did see it, we've heard mostly positive feedback.
Yeah.
And it's a really good way because like there's the announcements that Riley does every morning and she'll like talk over the intercom, but not all kids listen to those. So it's a good way kids listen, like actually watch videos. And we also post them on our Instagram page. So that's a nice way kids miss it and it shows all the events for the week. Also, something that we've talked about in the past is the wellness awareness. We have reached out to a public speaker from Lane ESD, Daniel Gallo, and he is hopefully going to be our public speaker. It's not confirmed yet because he has a very, very busy schedule, but we hope to have him. We're also working on altering last year's plan a little bit to adapt to something that we think kids would be more engaged with activities, but still following through on our overall message.
Yeah, Jake is headlining that because he's passionate about that. I'm just there. But something that I'm passionate about that Sid kind of touched on was actually, if you want to pull this back out, and I just based everything off of this, and then I added more. So they talked to Ren and they created this, and I got handed this because Joel heard all of the feedback about our Falcon, we call them the Falcon 5 videos, just like little news reports. And so we heard all the feedback about Falcon 5, and he was like, this would be awesome if you can do this. At least he was the one to talk to us. So I'm just saying it was Joel. And I said, absolutely, that's a great idea. I will get on that. So I am headwaying this project, and it is just everything Elmira. I'm calling it the EHS how-to video. And it is the front office, what you do when you come in late, what you do when you have to sign out, talk to Tammy. This is our staff, this is our office staff. Bookkeeper Lori, what she does, how to buy tickets, like you have, if you wanna buy like a prom ticket, you have to have all your books in, everything like that. The coffee cart that Cody runs, touch on that. Library, cafeteria, counseling center. I also am putting in a little blurb about our CTE programs, cause they're awesome. And then I wanted to do something about theater, but I didn't know what to put. So it's iffy. I was gonna talk to you about that actually. The free store, that was one. I think that's most of them, but I literally just took this and put it in a Google Doc and added on, and I think it'll be really good. I'm very proud of it. We are going to start filming this, at least a rough draft of this video, because Mr. Goldegger wants the rough draft by Thursday afternoon for a staff meeting, I think. Is that what it is for?
We have a meeting with the Red.
Oh, okay, a meeting with the Red people. So if we don't have a video done, I'll at least give them my script that I'm writing, and then that'll be at least something for them to tell us yes or no on, and then we'll see. So I'm excited about this, and I'm the head anchor on that one, but yeah. Was that all?
Nice.
Okay.
Awesome, thanks. Thank you so much.
Okay. I just have a couple quick updates for everybody. Happy School Board Appreciation Month. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you didn't see all your cute posters and hear it enough, we appreciate you. A couple things I just wanted to share. Hopefully you've been noticing the weekly posts to celebrate. I've been trying to push out like some brag posts, some web posts, because kind of like listening to Sid, listening to our kids, listening to Freya, there's so much great stuff happening out there. And I think sometimes there's a little bit of almost a PR problem. Like we're not able to see it and it's not getting blasted out enough. All of the amazing things happening. Any building that you walk into on any given day is doing some really good stuff. K-8, our winter benchmarking is done. So middle school just finished over the last few weeks, so I'm anxious to dig into that data, and I can kind of share in the coming months our winter compared to our fall progress, compared to last year's progress, and where we are on track, what they're doing. They've met with data teams, they've met with grade level teams and department teams to look through their data and make changes to their schedules, and so really good work there. Just an update, our integrated plan, which is our ODE, SIA, longitudinal performance growth targets, progress markers, all of that. Q2 reports are due in 2 weeks. So I'm updating our budget and tracking our progress. So that's coming up. I wrote down Hope Factory just in case you didn't touch on it, but I would encourage anybody to go, and I will help facilitate that. It is amazing. It was really cool to see. So that's kind of my reports, but I wanted to share kind of where we're at with social studies adoption this year, and kind of talk to you about K-5. So social studies adoption, we're following the same process that we do with math, ELA. We've got committees, we've got representatives from each building, we review the standards. We went to a social studies caravan at Lane ESD last week. So you get to see all the publishers that were approved by the state. You get to look through all the materials. You kind of get these sales pitches all day long at you, and you kind of go through the motions. 6, 8, and 9, 12 have both chosen their top 2. Kind of like Sid mentioned, high school is tricky because you have to have econ, civics, global studies, personal finance, and it's pretty intricate, but they've chosen 2 curriculum material sets that we're getting samples, and they're excited. Middle school has, hands down, their team was like, this is our #1 already, but I asked them to get 2 anyway, just so that they can do some piloting, sharing with students. So we're on track there. K-5, similar to like ELA, it's probably a $250,000 adoption to get K-5 7 years. And social studies is not that it's a back burner, it's a lot to add on to their daily schedule. So one of the things that we're working through is taking the social studies standards, and what we'd like to do is postpone adoption for K-5 and take those standards and align them to our Wonders curriculum. And there's a lot of different districts working through this: Junction City, Crestwell, Springfield, probably a lot more than that. We'll be postponing more than K-5. But what we'd like to do is take the year to kind of align the standards to our ELA, see where they match up, see where they don't, see what supplemental things we're already doing, like the elementaries use Scholastic News. And that's kind of like a social studies weekly magazine. And then do a crosswalk and see where our holes are and what we can do. And I think what that does for our K-5 teachers, it lets them breathe a little bit. Like, okay, so I'm not expected to teach an hour of social studies on top of an hour of science, on top of SEL, on top of math, on top of writing, on top of ELA. But to do a postponement, you need board approval. Long story short. What we could do, you could postpone and we could still, next year you can, because I'll have to present. Let's say we do this crosswalk, we do supplemental, I share where our standards match up and say this, I feel really good about it. You can still say, no, we want you to go out and find an ODE approved curriculum. What it does is it just kicks us out a year. Next year is languages, world languages, which we don't adopt K-5. So we're okay to kick it out. It's not like it adds on this huge layer of work to do 2 adoptions. So I just think it's the best idea. 1, if we can save those dollars. 2, if we can save the workload for teachers and kind of align it and be intentional with our curriculum. I think it's the idea.
What were the middle school courses? The 2 choices that you said they had?
Theirs are just 6th grade social studies, 7th grade social studies, and 8th grade social studies. And they're excited about adopting. Their textbook's pretty old and not super user friendly. Some of our high school textbooks are pretty old as well. These guys, 2016. Yeah, 2016. I mean, they're over 10 years old, which there's a lot there. And it's interesting just watching the teachers go through the materials. They were looking for specific things. Like this was only 5 years ago. Is it in there? It just goes out of date quickly. So that's where we're at. But like I said, to postpone, you do need board action. And to postpone, I have to submit to the state. So I would submit, yep, we're on track 6, 8, 9, 12. But as a district, we're postponing K-5.
Understood. Okay.
Is there a motion to postpone K-5 social studies adoption?
Yes, make a motion to approve the postponement of the K-5 social studies adoption.
I second that.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes.
That's all I had. And I'll keep you guys posted about Hope Factory.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, a few items. I'll echo everybody else's comments in the School Board Appreciation Month. Reminder to everyone here, those listening, y'all are volunteers. And it is very much appreciated, the work that you do. Jake reminded me, that on the February, we were just talking about outdoor school on our February board meeting. Ms. Vanderkar will be doing a report. Last spring, summer, the board wanted to get a committee to look at some of the parent communications and outdoor schools organized. That group has met several times with some high school students, a couple parents and staff. They've made some adjustments and changes, and Ms. Vanderkar will talk about that at the February board meeting. I already talked about the awesome grant quick bond update. Our 2 main projects for summer of 26 is we're starting to wrap up still small little things from last summer's work. But those are the parking lot at Benita. We've got paperwork in for our permits. We're starting to have conversations with neighbors about fences and what kind of fence they want. And I think what we might end up doing is a couple of the neighbors want to keep their wood fence. So we might put a cement strip kind of between and have a cyclone fence on our side. But starting to get into some of those details, middle school science and all that work, lots of little small details being ironed out down to colors of things and technology that'll be in rooms. Both those projects continue on track. I think I've mentioned this in a weekly update, but recently board chair Grover asked me to pursue and collect data on what it would look like if, and I think he's had maybe some individual conversations with you folks, what it would look like to have a district-wide K-12 athletic director. So I said, okay, I've started that maybe in the last week or 2. I would anticipate that in February, I will give you some presentation on my thoughts around what that would look like. There are certainly some pros to that. There's also some cons, the main con, I would say, would we be adding significant dollars to a budget that we're reducing elsewhere. So that'll be something the board needs to weigh. Another significant challenge, I've had at least one meeting with TSP to kind of see how that would work. He's gonna talk to their board folks, but I do see some challenges with having a district director directing programs that they really have no oversight over. Not that couldn't be worked out, but I do see it as a challenge that we'll need to address and planfully discuss ahead of time. So again, I have some more significant work to do on this in the next couple of weeks, but expect something from me in February. Won't need a decision then, or probably by the March board meeting, I will, to either get direction from the board to, we see the dollar amount, we don't care, included in the budget, or no, we're not gonna do that at this time. So again, I'll share information with you in February. If you have questions, I can work on those over the coming weeks, and then we'll have another discussion in March for the board to get me in charge to do that or not. Superintendent survey, just quick update. We read on the questions last time. Ms. Marshall helped me get them into a format. Bree's got that. In the coming weeks, I'll be working with WC to create a timeline of dates when that'll go out, when it'll come in, how it'll come back to Bree, how she'll compile it and get it to you, but just know that we're on track there. Oregon State assessment, training and full go. Last week, Ms. Klingsborn and I trained all the IAs in our district for 4 hours on Friday morning at Benita Elementary. Buildings are starting to work on their building plans, getting all of our folks trained and their forms signed and turned in, getting all our processes in place. We're probably a month out from starting some of this work. And then finally, again, I know I've updated you a little bit on this topic through email regarding K235. After listening to folks, I do agree with one thing, and that is I think this is probably a conversation we should slow down and not try to implement in the fall of 26, but if we are going to consider it in the fall of 27. I would suggest that for two reasons. One, we will have another year of enrollment data to see if we continue on the trend that I expect we will continue on. And two, it'll just give us more time. We'll have another busy summer with bond projects. If the board then, I would say October at the latest, maybe as early as September, I could make a decision on that. It would give us a good 10 months to get ready to do that. So in the meantime, there's a few things I'll be working on. I'll be working on a page on our website that'll have an FAQ and some information. I've started reaching out to North Bend, who's going through this process at the same time that we are. Rilco started reaching out to some Lincoln County folks who did this 8-10 years ago to get their feedback. I plan on doing a virtual Q&A. And then finally, you'll get an email from me tomorrow, all of the board members, for your thoughts on items you'd like to see included in a survey to folks about this. I know Director Kirkpatrick talked about, had some kind of specific suggestions at the last meeting, but you'll get an email from me to take any input. I'll collect and I'll work up a draft of that survey. And we will start that process. So I think that's all I have. Great.
Mr. Collins.
Yes, sir.
Regarding K235, I appreciate you all postponing it until the session next year. I just want keep an open mind with regard to alternative operations. Currently, we got the states possibly redrawing boundaries. Please look at what else we can do to resolve the underlying issues on this, rather than just those two things.
I'm sorry, but I couldn't really understand you. What I think I caught was, if we have issues around enrollment, class sizes, et cetera, you wanted to hear other solutions beside realigning K235?
Correct. anything else you do to fix this issue without just relying on the status quo, referring boundaries, because I think they've kind of hung up on that.
Sure. Could you, and I apologize, I think I caught the gist of it, but could you shoot me an email just to, so I'm clear on exactly what you're asking?
Yeah, you pretty much got it, but yes, I will.
All right, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
That was hard to understand.
My husband thought his name was Ma. Like MMCK, like the first time he's like, oh, Ma. I just learned it was actually Mark. You're not alone.
Okay.
Moving on to first readings of the policies.
Yeah, all this brief summary, all these first readings, you have, till next month to look them over. There, anytime we have a policy change that's something really significant, that's gonna be an impactful change, I'll let you know. Bree and I have gone through all of these. None of them I would say are impactful. They're small language changes, updates to law. But if you had any questions on any of those, just shoot Bree or I an email and I will try to get back to you. The second readings are the ones we're looking to approve tonight.
Okay. We go one by one. Do we do them all at the same time? What do you guys want to do?
If we could do one by one, that way we have a question.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's just first reading of them, right?
Second, we have to approve.
Second, yeah.
The six at the bottom are the second reading.
Oh, that's right.
Read,
Sorry,
click on them.
please.
Will they?
Do you want me to do that?
Would you
Yeah.
please?
Yeah.
Thank you. If anyone has questions. So this one just changes administrative job to superintendent. Any questions on that? Just one word.
Do we need to fully go through and approve them all like individually, or can we go in, do them all, or?
Lisa asked one by one in case you had questions.
Go ahead.
Do we approve them one at a time or do we approve them all at the end?
Well,
I would suggest, since we're going down this path, I'll put them
Just
up.
do one at a time. Do I have a motion to approve second reading of proposed policy CBG update evaluation of the superintendent?
I move to approve the policy CBG evaluation of the superintendent.
Do I have a second?
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Laura.
What was that one? Next one is CCG.
We just added administrator plural.
Perfect.
That's,
Yep.
that's it.
Do I have a
That
motion
was it, right?
to approve
Yep.
pluralization of administrator?
Make a motion to approve CCG. Is that right?
Correct. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
4-0. DBEA update. Thank you for highlighting the changes, Bree. That makes it so
Yeah, thank
easy.
you.
So it looks like that change was only in the subscript item,
Yep.
just a description added there.
Okay.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do I have a motion for DBEA update?
Motion to approve DBEA.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All those in favor? Aye.
I actually have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so on item number 2, at least one member of the budget committee must be a member of the district's educational equity advisory committee. But I had read something about that and now I'm seeing this. So pretty much if we have it, then we have to have one.
Yeah, well, we have one, but as the thing that was added there, the budget committee is required to include a member, is not required to include a member of the Educational Equity Advisory Committee until a vacancy on the budget committee occurs. And if you recall, Ms. Marshall has done some work on this. We've really tried to promote and get folks, but basically our Equity Advisory Committee, EAC, is currently Ms. Marshall, myself, and one parent. So, next time, again, it still comes down to volunteers. They can put a law in that says we have to have these things, but we can't get folks to volunteer beyond them, then we just do the best we can. So our ad here is just the fact that it isn't, we have this budget committee created. We don't have to kick somebody off the budget committee or make one of them be on the EAC, but next time a position opens up, we should try to include a member of the equity committee on that group.
Okay. Thank you. And I do want to ask this. It doesn't pertain to Fern Ridge, but just so I can have the information. On item number 3, let's talk about no budget committee member may receive any type of compensation. And I know that we're not going to, whatever that was, where the board can get compensated. What happens with that though? Let's,
Yeah, I don't think it would apply. I think what, I'll look into the question. But
Just talking about budget committee though.
yeah, but our budget committee is made up, you are part of the budget committee. It's 5 community members plus the 5 board members. But we also know we have clear legislation on board member stipends.
there you go.
So I don't know if there's a conflict. I'll shoot out an email tomorrow. You remind me to OSBA, just mention that a board member asked that question. How will that come in conflict with that at any point?
Thank you.
Do I have a motion to pass? Or did we already do that?
We did that one.
Okay, then
We're
just
moving
motion
on to the
that.
next
Thank
one.
you.
The change on this, and I didn't see it.
I think it's just scroll down a little bit more brief. I think it's just that update of the ORS that's at the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, just a law change or something.
Legal change. Do I have a motion to approve EBCA replace safety threats?
Make a motion to approve the EBCA replace safety threats.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Discussion.
Discussion first, okay, discussion.
So if we're deleting the emergency procedures and disaster plans, why are we deleting that? And is something going to be in place of it?
If we're deleting, I'm not sure what you're asking.
We're just updating the legislation that this policy is based off of, so something in the law changed,
Yep,
which
there's
we had to update.
Updated ORS.
Yeah, but this says delete.
Um,
This is EBCA, right? Oh,
It's EBCA.
oh, I'm sorry. I'm good on this one.
Okay. And remember, it will always help me because I'm not the smartest or the sharpest tool in the shed. If anybody has questions on any policies, shoot them to me ahead of time and I'll be prepared.
After the first reading.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Before the second.
after the first.
No promises.
But also, it's also fine if we ever got to this point and people had questions and wanted me to research, just, we don't have to approve in this meeting, we can get on things.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh. IKF update graduation requirements.
Yep, so you heard, Ms. Vanderkar talked a little bit about this. I assume some of the stuff in here is around, I've looked at this for a while. Can you make it even bigger? So some changes. We used to have what was called an alternative certificate, change the name to a certificate of attendance.
Yeah.
The foster child in foster care, edit. Recovery schools are becoming a thing in the state of Oregon, so that. And their number 4 is what Sid was talking about. There's new legislation where we need to include civics within our 3 credits of social studies and personal finance, or what we'll call financial literacy. And really, all of this stuff well, other than just kind of the grammar and language change we've been doing since the beginning of the year, following along, but we're catching up and updating our policy to match it. Understood?
Motion to approve IKF, update graduation requirements.
Thank you.
I second that.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Alright. Last but not least, JEA update compulsory attendance.
That gives them enough time, that's a lot.
I think this has to do with. Differences.
Yeah, I thought it was
Elimination of consequences.
consequences for attendance or something like that, right?
It's like if it's someone that's your care that's not necessarily here.
Yeah.
Compulsory, I mean, just in general, compulsory attendance is just the requirement that parents need to send their children to school. And if they choose not to do that, they need to be enrolled in an official homeschool program. That's another program that the Lady SD manages that for us. So our folks in our attendance area that say they're homeschooling, they must register with the ESD, supply the ESD with the curriculum or the program that they're in, and they track that. So that's what this topic is about. Gotcha.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve JEA update compulsory attendance.
I'll second that.
Discussion. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Motion passes 4 years. It's on the personnel.
Yeah, no license changes at this time. Our non-licensed, probably most of the coaches, yes, they're getting ready for spring sports. We posted 2 soccer jobs, so if you know anybody interested in soccer, point them our way. They won. That's just for information, no need to take action.
Late items, closing comments?
I don't want to make it go too long. The one thing I've heard from quite a few parents is the amount of phone numbers from the messaging thing, that it all comes from a bunch of different numbers. And they thought it'd be cool if it could come from one. I don't know if it's even possible, because I know each teacher kind of has, it comes to like their own number.
Parent Square?
Yeah,
Like the text messages?
yeah. And I think a lot of stuff gets not a lot of stuff. I don't want to blow it out of proportion, but stuff gets lost in translation, or text don't get read, or they ignore it because I'm kind of getting some of that stuff from some people. And the other thing was scheduling of certain school activities, and it kind of piggybacks off of like attendance to girls' games or attendance to it. Not trying to make it all about athletics, but there's like when a middle school dances at the same time as a high school event or what things like that. I'm really big in making all the student athletes that I oversee try to attend, I'm not gonna force them to, but like, I'm trying to make it a thing so that everybody goes. Incentivize the kids to go, try and show community spirit. That's the only way I know to build it up. I would hope that the boys' athletics have something similar to the high school boys, that they're required absolutely to stay and be front and center in the student section.
Yeah.
Being loud and proud, that should absolutely be a thing.
So like a district calendar rather than.
It would be cool, and I know it's a lot, and I know there's no way to completely eliminate the stuff. But there's just a lot of stuff like that. And I know it's hard with a middle school games at the same time as high school games, but it's a big contingent of kids. Like
We do.
I mean,
middle schoolers at our games.
yeah, well, I mean, Bree can attest, the other night we were at 8th grade game. I mean, there was a lot of people in that gym.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot. And it'd be cool to have all those people go support the high school. Elementary kids like going, it just builds that up, right? Making sure concession stands are open, making sure there's incentives for people to go to those things, I think is really important in the community. And sometimes the wires get crossed with scheduling with some stuff. Yeah, but I know it's like a big undertaking. I'm not.
Yeah, what I can tell you is I'll email building principals the comment. But also know it is one we definitely talk about. You know, when the middle school goes to schedule the dance, typically Olivia's gonna send out something to the other administrators, what's going on this night. you know, during the winter season, there's always basketball games on Friday night, so that's typically when they have their dance.
Is that people, if you're not a player or have a OSA card, you have to pay to get in.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. We went to is that an OSA mandate for the amount of admissions paid? Because I swear we went to another game and it was like $5.
It's league, the league.
It's league
Mm-hmm.
and not 10 like it is here. It's a lot of money for people to just come watch a high school game. It's a lot.
We have to, so yeah, what's the name of our league now? I was just thinking Sky.
Moved on.
Well, it's Far West,
All
right?
right, so our Far West League, those ADs get together and they decide collectively what we're charging. We cannot charge more or less. Well, I shouldn't say we can't, we could, but,
You have to pay a percentage of that back to the league?
no.
Well,
I mean, what difference does it make, I guess?
Middle school.
Because they don't want their parents paying $20 to come to an Elmira game and they only charge $1 at their place or vice versa.
But if the number's lower than what they're charging, it's incentivizing people to come here, right? But and the school district's not keeping any of that money, it just goes back to the league.
Oh, no, we keep all the money. It helps finance our athletics. There are 3 ways to finance our athletics. Gates, pay to play, which we don't have anymore. We still use our SIA money, and then a district transfer from the general fund.
I think I mean, not an easy way, but I know, that's why I was asking about the grants earlier. If there was a grant writer that would write something, maybe to have some funds available to maybe have less door fees, would probably get more people in, if I had to guess. I mean, the average mom, dad and kids, whatever, if they're not, I guess the kids are in free, but a couple of people show up, I mean, it's $40.
Yeah, it is. All I can tell you is I agree. It's crazy expensive. One thing I did, I don't think they're doing it now, was the high school principal. We created family passes. So something like you paid for a 10-person, you paid for 8 slots, but you got a 10-person punch card. We can do some things like that, but we would not make the rest of the league happy if we said we're charging less than you guys.
It seems when you go to away games, and maybe you can vouch for it, that there seems to be a lot more people at a lot of away gyms than there are at our gyms. And I was trying to think of ways to get people
One of
here.
the biggest elements of that, it's cyclical, right? I remember being the principal at high school when I had to put bleachers behind the team benches. We were so crowded. It's cyclical, but also it depends on the location of the facility, right? There's a lot of high schools where Junction City, you got hundreds of kids that can just walk there. We don't have that. We're not in downtown Bonita. It definitely has a little bit of an impact. I'm not saying there's not other things in particular, the leadership class or the high school could do, encourage attendance. The changing of the prices to go against what the league has agreed on to be a problem.
Do middle school students with student body cards get in free?
no.
Can we fix that? Any district student body card in for free, rather than just high school?
You could, but it's all as soon as reducing revenue to the athletic department, so the district would pay more general fund money to do that.
But could we, it's only ASB students that get in for free theoretically at the game. So what if we did an ASB at the middle school?
We're not a member of the high school student body, but it's something that if it's a topic that, it wouldn't be a topic I would get involved in too much. Should be something that the leadership class, high school administration talks about. Just keep in mind, when you reduce the revenue coming in, those gates, that's what funds coaches, funds officials, funds travel, funds buses, funds uniforms. So if we're bringing in $5,000 less, we're just taking $5,000 more from the general fund and putting it in.
Right. Would it not be possible for grant money to cover that if somebody wrote a grant specifically for high school athletics and attendance and that kind of stuff? Like for, there's gotta be, there's grants for everything.
We don't have a grant writer for the district, right?
We did not.
So
Well,
like,
we write hundreds of, not hundreds, but we write dozens of grants throughout the year.
So I mean, something to incentivize students to go. There was always a big student section when I was in school. It was pick a color night. It was dress however night. It was, yeah. I mean, noisemaker stuff, signs made in 0 period in class.
Spirit.
I mean, there was just, that's what I want to see is more school spirit, I guess. Is it what we got not that we didn't want to go to the girls' game. We had our hour switch. We went to a middle school game and we hustled back to the high school and it was the girls' game and there was like 50 people in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy for a varsity high school girls' game. I mean, the gym should be packed, and not seeing the students there kind of bummed me out. Not seeing all the boys front and center in all their warm-ups or back in their dress clothes. It just bummed me out, I guess.
It's, yeah, well, okay, the dress clothes, Trevor makes them put those back on. The fact that everybody leaves is rough. The girls, I know at least most of us like staying, but when we had the early games, it was really easy for us to stay after
Yeah.
and watch.
Yeah.
But now that we have late games, we have a walkthrough
Yeah.
at 6, so we can't watch the boys' game. And if we do, it's the last
Sure.
quarter or whatever, but.
That's something coaches could potentially talk about, because when I was in high school, you were required to watch
Oh,
the boys'
100%.
games,
Yeah.
and vice versa. So that's-
I've tried and. I don't.
We get, again, just from experience, not that this issue is something that the leadership kids or high school should discuss. You're gonna get a lot of pushback from parents that say, bull crap, my kid's going home and doing homework, you're not keeping him there. And it's just gonna create more opportunity for conflict for our coaches to tell kids you are staying.
Yeah, I think Gavin has tried to, Grover.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely should be encouraged. I'd be encouraging all our coaches to.
But like a couple of the boys stay, but it's very minimal.
1 plus 17 if you stay.
Yeah, and like I like that a couple of parents like a couple of the boys' parents stay for the girls' games, and I mean it's a couple of them specifically stay for specifically myself mostly, but like not to be like that, but like a couple boys' families stay for a couple of the girls' kids, but like.
I'll summarize an email and shoot it to Sid and Jake and Riley just on this topic to, it should always be something that a leadership class, the student body is trying to encourage attendance at,
Yeah.
at athletics.
I mean, I make Canvas, or maybe not me all the time,
Yeah.
but the class makes Canvas and I post them. I posted one today on EHS leadership. Like I run that account and I try, like, I share everything. I run the Elmira athletics. Like I try. I just don't know what else
I
to
don't
do.
see, I don't see other than the students that are there, like the stuff that leadership class does, like decorating for certain stuff and that, like, and having set spirit, like themes for the games has not changed for the most part over the 3 years we've been in leadership.
Yeah.
I'd say it's been in part for us a little bit less just due to less kids showing up. So we kind of like, oh, what we're gonna do the Falcon 5, like that seems like a bigger impact on our school than doing that. We still have, like tomorrow we have a theme, we posting the thing on Instagram for that stuff.
Yeah.
What I'd be curious to see though is if we could get the funds lower, like the entry price. I'm just curious, like I am all for like athletics having good gear and stuff, but I noticed like, the boys basketball team, they have some pretty nice stuff, which I'm very happy for them.
Fundraise themselves.
They did true, but I'm just curious, like how much could you like cut it down and they get by just fine. Also, I'd hope over time if charge is less to get in and more people show up, the money eventually comes back.
Yeah, I wonder if we could do like a survey and send it out, be like, hey, if prices were cheaper, would you come? What, or like, what do you need to, what do you need?
Keep in mind, it's free for all high school kids to get in. But you
Is
have an
it, or
ASB
is it
sticker.
just ASB?
I didn't
You have an ASB sticker, if they pay $20, I don't know what our percent of ASB sticker
It's,
people are,
So I don't know if this be something that's tied into Booster Club stuff, and I don't wanna dwell on it forever, but maybe there's some kind of a package at the beginning of the season that, get a hoodie or whatever, buy a hoodie, get a year pass, basketball pass, or I don't know, something. You know what I mean? So that the money's still coming in somehow. I don't know.
like I said, the first thing I'd suggest is do those multiple pass things. Gets people essentially 20% discount on everything, lets us keep our prices the same, but families that want to, prepay for 10 punch cards and they're only paying for 8, it's 20% reduction in the cost.
Anything else?
Sure. So moving on to having basketball in the house.